Hi, everyone. Our KPIs are not about Taylor Swift or Shakira, but they are about online and offline outcomes, which is almost as exciting. I'm sure many of you watched the Olympics in the last 2 weeks. Pretty awesome, right? Well, I did as well. I'm going to bet that the way you watched 4 years ago is different than the way you watched this time around. 4 years ago, broadcast television. This time around, it was streaming. And my watch is buzzing. So that's a huge, huge shift in consumer attention. And of course, we all know that the advertising dollars are always going to follow the consumer. And that's the reason why CTV advertising, connected television advertising, is the fastest growing medium around today. And there can even be more acceleration, and that's if we start thinking about CTV as a true performance advertising channel with accountability and transparency, just like digital advertising. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to walk you through a framework of CTV as a performance channel. We're going to walk through a campaign blueprint for success that we call the 70-30 rule, and then we're going to go through a quick case study. So without further ado, let's get into it. Search and social media have made huge changes in the last 15 years. They've been hugely successful, and the reason is low barriers to entry, fast to set up, data rich. You can get these campaigns going. You've got a feedback loop, and you can optimize, and you keep spending as long as it's working. So that's really set the stage for, and kind of the standard for all media formats. So if you're another media format and you want to secure budget, you better perform as well as search and social. Same standard. So where does CTV fit in? CTV is still a little bit the Wild West. It's a maturing market, but it has the opportunity to do so much more. And so it's really a matter of figuring out how do we make it just as accountable, measurable as the digital advertising formats. So now, everything's not rosy in search and social today. As good as it works, marketers are running into headwinds. Customer acquisition costs are increasing, and there are a bunch of reasons behind that. Number one, it's just been so successful that you've got channel saturation. Everyone's getting into the game. Number two is with all the privacy regulations that are out now, the signals that are being collected, particularly on the mobile devices, are not as robust, and that kind of weakens the ability to connect, an impression the way an ad is viewed with the actual outcomes. And number three is with AI, so last panel talked about AI, you've all noticed there are shrinking paths to conversion. So you no longer have to click through to get the answer, you get the answer right in front of you. So that kind of degrades some of the signals that are happening in search and social. So more than ever, teams have to work really, really hard to get the outcomes that they need. And what they're starting to realize is that bottom of the funnel tactics alone are not good enough. They have to create that demand up at the top of the funnel. And that's what, fortunately, CTV is really good at. That's what television has always really, really been good at. So there are a couple of other problems here. We talk about mass migration of consumers onto streaming, onto digital channels. It's great for new product search, discovery, service discovery, and so on. But when it comes to actually measuring the success factors for a campaign, we're really restricting ourselves to what I call the vanity metrics. So it's all top of the funnel. Let's look at the impressions, look at reach, frequency, completion rates, and so on. And we're over-optimizing for that, and what's happening is we're missing the other half of the equation. Over 80% of transactions actually happen offline. And so the question is, how do we take that into account? People don't want to buy clicks. They're buying cars. They're buying couches. They want to buy sneakers. They're in the restaurant chain, they're eating that hamburger and all that kind of stuff. So if we're going to make CTV a performance channel, we need to think about CTV as a performance channel in the context that it's tracking not only online outcomes, but also offline outcomes. Okay, So that gives us an opportunity to redefine how we think about CTV as a performance channel. And what that means is we need to think of it as a full funnel channel. It's not just what TV has always been about, which is top of the funnel, get that emotional impact. It's gotta be, you gotta move consumers down the funnel and eventually recognize that most businesses have both an online component and an offline component. And we also need to recognize that even if it's a large regional or a national chain, let's say, that they're gonna win locally. And so the framework needs to take that into account. So what we're saying is we're not gonna ignore those top of the funnel metrics. They're great, they serve as leading indicators, the impressions, reach, frequency, and so on. But then what we need to start doing is blending other metrics that are both leading indicators of a digital outcome as well as the actual outcome itself. So how many people showed up into the store? How many people bought something offline? Well, how did it drive sales? How many new customers? And so on and so on. So it's about proving real world impact, not just top of the funnel vanity metrics. Okay, so that gets us to this blueprint that we believe is a starting point for success. So this is not a hard ratio. We've just found that the 70-30 rule is a great way to start, and then of course you can optimize and adjust as you go. So what we're suggesting is use CTV, connected television advertising, as the foundation for every campaign. That's what creates the top of the funnel awareness. Then you start, and that makes up about 70% of the total media spend. The other 30% comes from other digital formats that are, in certain cases more clickable, more action-oriented, that can sort of drive that bottom of the funnel outcome. So that would be things like online video. It would be things like retargeted display ads, audio ads, pause ads. For those of you who aren't familiar with pause ads, that's, you're watching a movie, let's say, and you pick up the remote, you press pause, and as long as that content is paused, you basically have a homepage takeover. A lot of times brands have an opportunity to put up a QR code, so it's very actionable, and it stays up there until you resume the content. So huge opportunity. Bottom line is you want to have this full funnel mindset. Okay, so here's how it works in practice. Imagine for a second, you're home, you're watching television, in fact, you're watching the Olympics. And it's a very emotional experience, lean back, very immersive, and you get served, in the middle of the Olympics, you get served a 30-second commercial. And you see that same ad, let's say, 5 or 6 times over the next couple of days. A week later, you're commuting, you're now watching Olympics highlights on the train, on your phone, and you get served a 15-second online video ad, or maybe it's a display ad. A couple days later, you're back in the home, you're again watching the Olympics, or maybe it's a movie, and you get served a pause ad, super high impact unit, and at some point, there's gonna be enough frequency for some of these consumers to convert. And that is when you want to now say, okay, we need a mechanism, some kind of an attribution capability that's going to capture both the online and the offline outcomes. Okay. Before I get into the case study, I want to quickly highlight, the big question is, well, CTV, I know some of you guys are doing this, some of you are not. To the extent that people are doing it, it's kind of like, well, this is just like the new TV, it's not a whole lot different. The question is why, what's holding brands back from doing this more? And it's going to happen. But the things that are holding them back are what I would describe as legacy thinking, tied to legacy television. Number one is there's some folks out there that still say CTV lacks reach. And that's absolutely not true. Over 80% of households today are streaming. And all of the cable networks, broadcast networks, 800 plus local TV stations, they're all on streaming apps. So the reach is absolutely there. Number two, some people say, well, CTV can't be targeted. Actually, it can. From a geo-targeting perspective, state, DMA, zip code, over 90% of the campaigns that we run are zip code targeted. So it's absolutely possible in terms of audience targeting. If you've got behavioral, psychographic, there are tens of thousands of third-party segments that you can leverage to reach the right audience, whether it's homeowners or auto intenders or whatever it happens to be. Number 3, CTV can't be measured offline. So of course, I've been emphasizing offline conversions here. It's absolutely possible to do it, and here's how it works. Brand gives us the point of sale data, typically includes first name, last name, email address, physical address. That then gets cross-referenced against what we call an identity graph, a consumer identity graph. There are a bunch of companies out there that do this kind of thing, and what they're doing is basically indexing the entire universe of households across the US against the people who live in those households, against the devices owned by the people who live in those households. And so that's a way to essentially stitch together an offline sale to the online digital identifiers, and that way you create this holistic online-offline paradigm. Fourth point here, this is another myth that is quickly being dispelled. I think the last panels also, last speaker also referenced this. So, a lot of times people say, well, I've never been on TV, I don't have a creative. What is it going to cost? $30,000, $50,000, and I'm going to have one version? Absolutely not. The amazing thing about AI is you can get a commercial for free. Sometimes you need to have kind of human intervention to improve the quality of the commercial, but you can actually get all kinds of commercial variations. You can create one version for your audience in New York, another version for your audience in LA. You can vary it by campaign targeting tactics, level of the funnel. Brand awareness is going to have one set of messages. Bottom of the funnel, action-oriented, is going to have a different set of messages. So all of this is possible. Okay, so let's talk about the case study. We recently worked with a home services client, and this is a national brand. And what they were trying to do is they have about 200 franchisees, and they wanted the ability for these franchisees to control and customize the budget very locally. They wanted different pockets of the country to run the campaign slightly differently that worked for those markets, but they also at the same time wanted kind of a national view of what's the return on ad investment for this national campaign. And so what we did was, okay, here's what we're going to do. We are going to, do the zip code targeting. We're going to do the kind of the audience overlays. We're going to measure online and offline and so on. So here's how we tackled it. Number 1, very, very important, of course, is to set the definition of success up front. So what are your KPIs? In this case, they said, okay, we have online presence. We have a majority of our sales are actually offline, so we want to capture that. And we want to do this kind of national to local thing. So we took their first-party data. We created what we call a lookalike audience. So this is a targetable audience that has the same characteristics of prospects who already converted into customers. We also, by the way, took this very same list and said, we are specifically going to block all existing customers because why waste impressions on a viewer who's already a customer? So that was number 1. Number 2 is we set up all the high intent targeting. We worked with many of the local franchisees to get their local creative, local messaging, local tactics, set up that end-to-end funnel, created the frequency, and eventually moved customers down the funnel, made sure we're tracking online and offline, and it was a continuous optimization process. Okay, before I get into the results, I want to quickly highlight the richness of metrics and dimensions that you can glean from CTV advertising these days. It's actually quite incredible. It works exactly like a social and search campaign. You've got, for example, one of the dimensions that's very important is, well, what apps are you running on? So you can see here are examples of some local television apps, some national apps. You've got the ability to vary product. So I mentioned you want to use 70% of CTV as the foundation, but as you're moving the viewers down the funnel, you want to blend in pause ads, OLV ads, maybe a display ad retargeting program, and so on. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start collecting those digital signals. So all the really, really cool stuff, reach, frequency, impressions, VCR. By the way, that's all broken down by publisher and by screen. So there's a lot of ability to optimize here. Of course, offline, super important. These guys were selling high-end windows, high-end doors, thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars an order. And we're tracking the cost per door and the cost per window here. And ultimately, what you've got is a number that says, this is the amount I spent. This was my cost per response, which is a blend of online and offline. And then your ROAS. Now, the ROAS was absolutely outstanding here. I'm not suggesting that every CTV campaign is going to perform like this, but it just shows that you have access to really rich data, and there's a whole optimization process that can make this thing work. Here's another view. Time of day, day of week. Get the rich data, get all of those metrics from the digital identifiers to the outcomes, see what's working. You can vary it by screen. Here's an example. Same slice of data, same metrics, but broken down by zip code. This is done in real time. You've got a map view as well. So it's absolutely incredible. If you're a national retailer or a regional retailer, and you have a local presence and you want consumers to, you want to win locally, this is one way to do it. Okay. It's also very interesting to see, well, what kind of frequency do I need in order to maximize performance on these campaigns? That's what the top graph is showing. And the bottom graph is showing how many times do I need to show the ad? Well, actually, the bottom is how many times show the ad. The top one is how many days did it take into conversion? Now, notice the left side here in pink, this is for the digital identifier. And the right side is for the offline outcomes. So it just shows that if you have this kind of nuanced data, it can really help you optimize the campaigns. Okay, so here were the results. About $100,000 spend, reached 500,000 households across the country. You got your cost per visit around $30. You've got your cost per offline sale about $900. And then that one in the middle, the 33, is kind of a blend. And you have an amazing return on ad spend. So this is absolutely doable. It's, sort of that offline, online, national, local playbook. Okay, so what can folks learn from this? What can we talk about? What can we do to help you get going? Number one is you've got to recognize that CTV really is a full funnel performance format with really, really rich metrics that you can optimize. So you want to start small. Maybe you start in a specific market with a specific local, retailer, work on their specific creative messaging and so on. You, of course, want to define your KPIs, your business outcomes up front so that there's no miss after the campaign is complete. Take advantage of that 70-30 blueprint. It does work. And then refine from there. And then basically fund what works. Marketers are always going to follow the dollars. And so you have the tools at your disposal in connected television to do that. So thanks very much. A couple of things. Please check us out. Jamloop is at booth 311. I believe we have a happy hour at the bar, the main bar in the front lobby, 7 to 9, 9 to 11. What is it? 7 to 9. And tomorrow from 10:30 to 1:30 or so, we have Bloody Marys and mimosas from Dick's Mixes. Thanks very much. I'm around. If anyone wants to talk with me, feel free to chat. Visit us at the booth. Thank you.